Well, hello again to you fine-ass people and who you want to be. My name is Sam, of course, and I welcome you once again to the newest episode of Weird Mind Newsroom, where for another week we are delving into the focus of what is coming out in terms of new releases, trailers, and news that you may have missed in the realm of entertainment media. So let's not waste time on these introductions and waiting around. Let's talk about all things media that we have for another week.
It's time to play the music. It's time to light the lights.
We start off the new releases for this week with the first focus that shows we are of our issues and ideals of workplace problems, and ideals where you feel you work hard for your career and prove your worth, but then you get someone that's a bit of an ass that will call you out the minor issues and see you as worthless or cause a major issue or blame you for certain things. But what happens when you find yourself in an unforeseen circumstance where the roles reversed and things are possibly about to get sinister? Well, that's what we have here, as Sam Raimi is bringing us back with a new horror-directed film he is helming with the new title of Send Help. Then the film follows a woman named Linda, played by Rachel McAdams, who ends up stranded on an island with her overbearing boss, played by Dylan O'Brien, after a plane crash. They must soon overcome past grievances and work together to survive, but will ultimately become a battle of wits and wills to make it out alive. Now, reception of this new film has seen a very strong reception with praise on the lead performances of McAdams and O'Brien, and from Raimi's direction and use of uneasy tension throughout the title. And if you want to check out the outcome of this castaway display, then you catch this new film out now in cinemas. As for the second and last film of this week, is one that I feel is running its course, where initially what started as an unsettling home invasion film from nearly 2 decades ago has run its concept and ideals deep into the ground. But why not one more go around to bring this nightmare to a possible end? As you may not know or expected it this soon, but we have the release of the third and final part of this horror trilogy with The Strangers Chapter 3. Now, the film will see Maya, after dealing with an excessive nightmare of a few days, will see her square off against the masked killers one last time in a brutal full circle reckoning of survival and revenge. Now, similar to the previous entries, the film has been hit with a critical panning of reception, with what's seen as monotonous, overstretched, and feeling the concept of these masked intruders and killers has lost all sense of fear and meaning from the original. But if you want to see how the story ends, you can catch the final chapter out now as well in cinemas. It's time to play the music. It's time to light the lights. It's time to talk the next release on the Weird Mind News tonight. It's time to make a mess now. You liked it, maybe subscribe, because of course this new release is the long-awaited special for The Muppet Show tonight. The new special and backdoor pilot will see the return of the gang of Kermit, Miss Piggy, Fozzie Bear, Gonzo, and all the other Muppet cast as they make their triumphant return to their iconic studio to put on a new and modern take of their 50-year-long show, with some special guests like the executive producer Seth Rogen, comedic audience member Maya Rudolph, and the star guest of the night with one superstar, Sabrina Carpenter. Just don't say that around Miss Piggy. Now, reception of this new special has been very highly praised with its modern take, its humor, heart, and nostalgia of seeing these iconic figures of pop culture make a return, and hopefully a new series to come from it all. Now, I've watched this special and I loved it, with most nitpicks being I wish it was slightly a little longer, some Muppets were missing, and the voice of Kermit is still a little bit getting used to, because I'm used to Steve Whitmore, but I loved it and hope for more. I'll give a quick review of this in due time, so look forward to that. If you want to check it out and help get the planned new series started, then you can catch the new special out now on Disney+. Now, on the likes of the games for this week, the first one is a return to a beloved recent new series that will see a way of the warrior become a form in 2 different ways, and will see you take a stand to restore peace and harmony to a destroyed land you once called home. As after more than half a decade, we have the release of the all-new entry of the popular ninja RPG series with Nioh 3. Now, set in 1622 and serving as continuation of the original title, you take the role of Tokugawa Takechiyo, the grandchild of Tokugawa Ieyasu, as you prepare to be marked and ranked as a shogun. But things turn to dire outcomes when your younger brother Tokugawa Kurimatsu becomes consumed by hatred and falls into darkness and empowered by a sinister force, which leads a horde of yokai in a fierce assault against Takechiyo, turning the era of peace into hell. In this uncertainty, you will hone your skills and powers and use the power of to transcend time to change fate and save Japan through the mysterious power of the guardian spirit Kusunaga. Reception on this third title has seen some very strong appeal with the praise in its visuals, gameplay, narrative, and characters, and is seen already as one of this year's best new titles. If you want to continue the journey of this series, you can play it now on PS5, Xbox Series X and S, and PC. And our last of the new releases and the last of the games will see us return to another iconic classic series, and with a new fresh coat of paint and a sense of the spirit of adventure. It will be time to set sail once again with a timeless entry, as we have the release of the all-new reimagined entry of Dragon Quest VII. Now, based on the original title from 2000s, the game will see you take the role of the hero as you and your friends set off on a journey to search across the mysterious island surrounding their home of Estrad, where through the passage of some ancient ruins we'll see them transport to various areas and defeat the evil found in each of these locations. Now, reception of this new remake has seen some very positive reception with praise on its updated HD visuals, improved elements of the classic combat system, and for being a faithful reimagining of the classic entry in this series. And if you're ready to set sail for adventure, then you can play it now on PS5, Xbox Series X and S, Switch 1 and 2, and PC. And with all that regards now, that's all the new releases that we do have for this week.
Everybody Vogue!
Now on the first of our trailers we have for this week is bringing us a high sense of fashion, glamour, a bit of gossip and drama, and the return of some icons in a cutthroat world of fashion industry, and looking damn good while doing so. As after 20 years since the original film release, we have received the official first trailer for the upcoming sequel of The Devil Wears Prada. Now loosely based on the 2014 sequel novel, the film will see Andy, played by Anne Hathaway, returning to runway as Miranda, played by Meryl Streep, navigates a new media landscape and runway's position within it. They reconnect with another former assistant, Emily, played by Emily Blunt, who is now the head of a luxury brand that possesses commercial money that could mean runway's survival. So I'll say that the original film from 2006 is quite an entertaining watch, especially with the main trio of women and Stanley Tucci having such a presence and acting prowess in a film of fashion and gossip. What I have seen from this sequel so far seems like it has the appeal in general from the small bits of footage I have seen of this film so far, which seems decent. Now, I'm not sure how much of the two follow-on novels this will be inspired from or they will take from, but this one will be quite surprised if the likes of this film with costume department aspect is somewhat snubbed at the following year's award shows, but I guess we could see how it comes of it, and I'll give a look into this in due time as the film will be making its way to the runway of the cinemas from the 1st of May. For the second trailer of the week, we are delving into the biographical scene for the next focus as it's time to see a new take on another iconic musician, as we've seen the King of Rock and Roll, the Rocket Man, a poor man's portrayal of the Starman, and of course the Queen himself. But it's time we take a focused look at the King of Pop for an all new look at his rising success as we receive the trailer, the upcoming biopic known simply as Michael. The film will of course follow the life and career of Michael Jackson, played by Jackson's cousin Jafar Jackson, as he followed the legacy of his career from his early days as a member of the Jackson 5 all the way to pop superstardom in the 1980s and beyond. I'll say with anything is that Jackson's discography and aura really has stood the test of time, and it really seems like they are going all in with this new film, and I have to say whoever has been editing these trailers has done a really proper bang up job with them to give a slice of the family life and band up to the solo career and their command by their father. And I have to say with Jafar Jackson betraying his late uncle is quite an iconic focus to it all as well. Now, I'm not sure what the approach to this film will go in, as I've heard before, as this is going to be possibly around beyond a 3-hour runtime, and it's possibly being split into 2 parts, as the focusing of his stardom in the early 90s and then the later could be about his untimely death and other legal means, but it really is unclear of where this will be capping at, but I'm sure we'll get an ideal real soon. It's not too long away from this release either, as it'll be moonwalking its way into cinemas from the 24th of April. Now for the one animated focused trailer we have in the week, we are returning to a series that I feel the timing for this feels a little too rushed for a sense of comfort, given how divided many are from its original final season. But instead of going forward, we are going back slightly to the past for some unseen tales of mystery and horror abound in this strange town of Indiana that may have turned the world upside down once more. As we've received the trailer for the new animated spin-off of Stranger Things, with Stranger Things Tales from 85. Now set between the events of seasons 2 and 3 of the original series, the show will take place during the winter of 1985, and we'll see the kids and teens of Hawkins coming together to battle a new wave of threats and monsters and unravel a new paranormal conspiracy. So I've made some points clear with the original final season, and I felt it was underwhelming and disappointing. But if you can hear the voice notes of me and my friend having the absolute rants of this final season, feeling so messy would be quite something to hear. And I feel like this one, timing of this release just feels a little off-putting, as the concept of what happened during the story is never mentioned in the 3rd season by the group, and it's going to add more layers of plot holes and issues that the final season already left unanswered. I think what this was also supposed to be was starting off as a Telltale game, as the studio was initially making a game based on the series before the studio was shut down in 2018, maybe it was reworked into the series going off the animation style, and as one that is usually a fan of animation, the style feels a little off and weird when they could have went all in on the look aesthetic of a classic 80s Saturday morning cartoon, with the modern flair mixed in with as well, but I guess it's more budgetary reasons. Now, I'll give this a watch and we'll see if this will have any sense of appeal, but I don't have the highest of hopes with it at the moment, but I guess we'll see with the release of the new series onto Netflix from the 23rd of April. For the next trailer of the week is seeing us cordially invited to a special occasion where we will see the united bond of 2 people in love for an eternal bond. But it may seem all fine and lovey-dovey on the surface, but it looks like the cracks are starting to form from within this relationship for certain reasons, as A24 brings us a new look and trailer for the upcoming new film known simply as The Drama. In the plot of this film, the idea is that days before a planned wedding, a couple, played by Robert Pattinson and Zendaya's relationship, is shaken when one partner discovers unsettling truths about the other. So I have to give props to the trailer editors again for giving that sense of all the wholesome romance and love at the start, and then takes a turn with an alluding to what has probably caused the uncertain drama unease for the wedding day concerns. It seems to come from Zendaya's character and will give some sense of guessing what it could be, but maybe it's well worth keeping the mystery until the big day. And I'm intrigued to see the outcome of this project, and thankfully it's not too long away from release either, as you can RSVP your attendance with the big day goes ahead into cinemas from the 3rd of April. Our next trailer in focus is bringing us to play a little game that, while it may have seemed calm and normal from the concept of the simple game that many of us have played as kids, this is taking things to a more sinister level and has now been doubly amplified when the new additions and issues have been added to the mix, as the games will begin again as we've received the second trailer for the sequel with the great follow-on tagline with "Ready or Not, Here I Come." The follow-on once again follows Grace Macaulay, played by Samara Weaving, the sole survivor of a brutal game that resulted in the death of her husband and in-laws. Now learns that her victory comes with a price. Now the wealthiest and most influential families on Earth have to kill her in a new game or risk losing their power and fortune. Initially refusing to participate, she's soon left with no choice when her younger sister Faith, played by Catherine Newton, is also marked for death, and she will soon have to protect her and survive this new round of the deadly game. I do give a sense that a follow-on this could be seen as unnecessary, but I feel if you have a concept and idea in mind for the continuation of a story, then I feel it makes complete sense. And also the fact that they had the perfect use of a great subtitle for this film anyway. But hopefully in the likes of its outcome that it could be an entertaining follow-up that wraps up the story in a complete package duology, but I guess we can see about it in due time. I'll probably give this a look at when it does, and it's not too long away as the games will begin when they are released in cinemas from the 20th of March. For the final trailer of this week is returning us to a focus once again to a Titan-based scale, as the secrets and creatures of the world and our history have begun to become part of our present, and these Titans are about to cross paths with something far more dangerous than they expected to, as we have the release of what I assume is the final trailer for the second season of Monarch: Legacy of Monsters. The new season will pick up with the fate of Monarch and the world hanging in the balance, as the new season reveals buried secrets that reunite the heroes and villains on Kong's Skull Island, and to a new mysterious village where a mythical Titan will rise from the sea. I know likes that the Monsterverse has had its share of hits and misses, and opinions on this franchise has become a mixed bag, more so with more standalone Titan-based projects, but I've seen the appeal that this series has brought in general. And granted, I enjoy watching giant monsters fight as well, and I hope from what I've seen from this footage and is all that it will bring the acclaim the original first season provided and continue the momentum in a strong way. But I guess we will see in due time, and thankfully it's not too long away from the release, as the new season will be unleashed in about 3 weeks time on Apple TV Plus from the 27th of February. With all that regards, that's all the trailers that we have for this week.
No, I won't kill them. Well, maybe Shadowheart.
So it has been a few weeks since the last time we focused on this, but it looks like for our first story of the week being the first of the many variations of directs from the game studios, as Nintendo has dropped the first full-length direct of the year in the partner showcase side. Though while not being the main big event of the first party ones, I will take what I can get, and we were given a selection of just over 30 titles with some new looks at recent announcements, and a few new ports coming to the two versions of the Switch. And while there's a debate as many saying this is terrible, I'll be more optimistic and enjoy my time over the 30-minute runtime, and I'll be delving into what was shown and what to expect from here. So let's begin. Now before I delve into the main direct, I do have one other title that I actually forgot to give a focus on last week, as we have 3 directs already from the Mario Galaxy one at first on a Sunday, and then one more last week, which was of course the direct focus on the new Tomodachi Life Living the Dream. They gave us a focus on some more new and returning modes like relationships, meat creation, sexual orientation, including some LGBTQ inclusivity, and a whole lot more, and it's one I'm excited, and we've now got an official release date of April 16th for the title, and I'll be aiming to get this day one when it does, and all my friends become part of this island, as well as some other random ones. And of course, I have to include the star of the entire direct, and also his other region-based copy boyfriend.
I feel a bit more like myself.
I will not give any slander to Hugh Morris. This man is an icon. Do not disrespect Hugh Morris. So actually, starting on the new wave of games shown in Direct, we start off with the first of many specific style of category of the anime games, as you either get a lot of anime games, farming games, or both in some of these Directs. But this one first looks solid with a new look at Orbitals, which will be a new co-op-based title as you play as 2 explorers of the cosmos and using some unique and powerful elemental weapons to save the day. I love the aesthetic and art style. It's giving me classic 80s cartoon and anime vibe, and also reminds me of the animations of the Starlight Brigade music video, which I fucking love. Now I'm now very interested in this title and will be well giving this a try when it comes out sometime this summer. Then we have the focus on one I sense a mystery, as we have a new entry of the Paranormal Site series with The Mermaid's Curse that will have you solving the cases of mysterious and strange deaths of the inhabitants of the local island and of the strange creatures appearing along the ocean's surface. And I'm sure many have some appeal to it. I may give a look at the first title of this one when it curse becomes unleashed from the 19th of February. Then we got some high stakes action with some sports titles with the new entry of the Captain Captain Suzuba series with World Fighters, as you play an intense game of football and use some powerful moves to win the match, and I'm sure will have appeal to some when the title releases sometime later this year. Then initially I thought this was the Code Violet game that came out recently that was getting some poor reception, but it's actually a new title of Tokyo Scramble, where you'll have to find your way out of some mysterious underground world under the streets of Tokyo that are full of prehistoric creatures as you sneak your way around them, and even can have 4 players in game share or game chat to play a single player experience. And I like the tone and vibe the game is given. I'm sure it'll be well worth a look by its release from next week on the 11th of February. Then we have a new title that fits in the aesthetic of the characters to the Norse age, as we got a look at the Valheim that will see you take on the role of ancient warrior and scavenge survive in a strange vast land and wilderness. And I have to say it's interesting graphical art style that I wonder is intentional or not fully processed, but I'm sure maybe some decent fun with friends when the title launches sometime this year. Then, given the appeal and anticipation being worth it for the follow-on expansion, we got a confirmation that the original game of Hollow Knight will be getting a new Switch 2 upgrade edition that will improve some frames and update visuals and make the wonderfully challenging and beautiful game even more appeal, with the title dropping the day of the event. And if you already own the Switch 1 version, like I do, you can upgrade to the Switch 2 edition for absolutely free, and that's a solid offer. Then we are back on the pitch for one more game in focus from the Direct, as we unveiled the newest entry of the former PES series with the eFootball Kickoff that will bring Konami's take on the sports and new audience of fans of the series, of those wanting more football games to add to the collection of them that you have, but you can do so when the title releases sometime this summer. Then the next of the anime titles will see us get an all-new look at the title of the Adventures of Elliot and the Millennium Tales that will have you travel on to restore the land overrun with beasts using a specific special doorway hidden in some ruins that could manipulate the passage of time, and I'm sure it will have the appeal to many when it releases on the 18th of June this year. Then the first of 2 collections that are confirmed from the Direct is bringing us a classic with a collection of the popular Bomberman series. We'll be getting some of the original entries of the series as well as some exclusive titles from Japan. It seems to be all for having a blast, with a digital version available the day of the event, with a physical version releasing sometime later this year in August. Then now one announcement I was not really expecting to see this early of an unveiling, given the first port only dropped like 2 weeks ago, was the announcement of the port for the second part of the Final Fantasy VII Remake trilogy, with Rebirth being unveiled at the event and confirmed with release date for the title, as well as with the second part coming out on the 3rd of June, which is quite surprising that it's a 6-month turnaround, but maybe it's a quick turnaround for part 3 as well, but who knows. Then a title that was announced to be getting a port to this console at the Game Awards, we were given a new look at the gameplay and combat for the upcoming title of Pragmata, as you're taking control of a space marine and with the assistance of a small android that looks like a little girl, and will use her powers to help you uncover the mysteries of this massive space station on a moon or something and help you get back home in one piece. And while some say the visuals look downgraded, I think it still looks pretty solid on the console. It'll be well for try when the releases on all consoles and PC from the 24th of April. And now for a series that has been somewhat dormant for a bit of time, but we are returning to a title that first made its presence back in the era of the N64 with the game of Turok Origins that will have you play as a fierce warrior and go on a journey on your own or with some friends and battle some very powerful creatures. Now, for certain will be a very interesting journey and does look very visually appealing. It'll be well for play across these mysterious lands with the game releases sometime later this fall. Next on the roster of anime titles unveiled at the Direct was a look at the new title known as Kyoto Xanadu that will see you explore a detailed Kyoto that's become the capital of Japan and will see you protect these lands for portals and tears into another world, opening up and causing a bit of uncertain chaos being unleashed with monsters coming through the portal or citizens and players being trapped in that side of the portal too. If you do battle with these powerful adversaries, that doesn't look too bad and could have their appeal in the action and tone and all of that, and maybe well worth a try when the game releases sometime later in the summer. Then we have a focus on another title getting a port to the console with the recently released Digimon story Time Stranger getting a confirmed release for the console that will have you being blasted back a couple decades in the past to save your present and their future in the process. And I have heard a lot of strong appeal to this title, so maybe well worth giving a try when the title releases on both Switch consoles from the 10th of July. Then we have the next entry of the popular JRPG series with the Granblue Fantasy, which I assume is a third title known as Relink Endless Ragnarok that will have you create a party of Avengers that you can choose from a selection of 20 to do battle against powerful adversaries above the surface and to stop the end of days in ancient lore, and I'm sure we will appeal to many and continue their adventures with the game launching on the console from the 9th of July. Then if you're up for some giant monster fun, then you are in luck, as we have much more closer to the newest edition of the popular Monster Hunter Story series with the third entry of Twisted Reflection on the horizon that will have you explore the frozen lands by land, sea and air with many different forms of monsties to defeat and use as mounts, and it all seems like it could appeal to the fans of this massive series. Title set for release in about a month's time on the 13th of March. Then we had an unveiling of some classic titles coming to the arcade and console archives, which include the titles of Rave Racer, Doraemon, Sonic Wings, Cool Borders and Ninja Gaiden 2 are just some examples, all getting released over the archive vaults, with the Racer dropping on February 26th and the other titles dropping the same day as the event. Well, mainly Ninja Gaiden and the Cool Borders. Don't know about Doraemon, but they're coming out soon. Then we had the focus of some montage, with the other titles getting brief glimpses, meaning some are releasing very close to the event, Ghostbusters, which started off with an all-new look at the arcade beat-em-up sequel to Scott Pilgrim with EX as you battle across Canada and defeat powerful adversaries as Scott and Ramona. It looks like the original game from the 2010, and I'm all for trying this out when the game's set to launch on the 3rd of March, so very close release. Then we are given a brief glimpse of the title of Another Eden Begins. It'll have you in a turn-based RPG and save the world from deadly threats and monsters, with the title set for launch on the summer of this year. Then really the first of the only 2 horror titles shown off in this direct was given another scary brief glimpse with a new look at the Taizier Studios' Reanimal, as you play as small mysterious children that must journey across a strange mysterious group of islands full of unsettling, unspeakable horrors, try to rescue your trapped friends, and I'm very excited to be terrified with this game dropping to us next Friday on the 13th of February. Then it's time to bring the pain and play the game, as the next part of the WWE series with 2K26 was shown off with some new iconic wrestlers, modes, and matches ready to be at your disposal, and will be well worth giving a try to see how this port holds up when it launches on March 13th. Then we're heading to space for the final frontiers. We have an all-new title in the ever-expanding world of Star Trek that will see us create and organize our own Starfleet and travel across the cosmos and avoid enemy threats. I'm sure we'll have its appeal on fans of the series and newcomers, with the new title dropping shortly on the 18th of February. Then we're taking a trip to a land full of magic and colourful characters, so we have the confirmation of the Switch 2 edition of Disney Dreamlight Valley, and have you see create the Disneyland of your dreams and desires, and provide all the new updates and all the bells and whistles, with the edition releasing on Switch 2 from the 25th of March. Then I believe the last of the sports titles in this direct will be seeing us hitting the fairways, as we have the latest entry of the PGA Tour series, which will see you play some of the most iconic names in the league and playing across many of the most well-known locations around the world. And I'm sure it'll be well for a bit of golf to play, with the title hitting the fairways a day or 2 later after its direct on the 6th of February. We then got a brief look at a new title known as Concept Begins, which looks like a strategy RPG mixed with the battles based on some card-based battle games, which does have its own interesting aesthetic and approach, and may be interested to take on the project to try when the game releasing from the 16th of July. Then we head to the focus of a simple indie simulator becoming a juggernaut series, as we have the release of the Switch 2 edition of Goat Simulator 3 coming its way for us to cause chaos, destruction, and so much more across a vast sandbox at your disposal, with the title set for release on April 1st. Then we have the bit of the way of the ninja with the new title of Shadow Tactics Blades of the Shogun that will see you survive against an armada of unforeseen enemies in the backdrop of feudal Japan. It seems like it could have some interesting potential with the game release on the 18th of March. And the last of titles in this montage was the focus of the follow-up to Tales of Rise, with Beyond the Dawn getting a port to the Switch 2 that will see you use more powerful magic and weapons and team up with some colourful and powerful adversaries against the forces of evil, with this port set for release on the console from the 22nd of May. One of the last big unveilings of the event was giving us an all-new look at the newest entry of the highly anticipated 9th entry of the Resident Evil series of Requiem, that will see a difference between our 2 lead characters of Grace Ashcroft and Leon Kennedy, with Grace having the tone of Resident Evil 2 and 7, the more horror approach, and Leon's going more of the action tones of Resident Evil 4, all come together to bring us some all high action and moves, even with the person playing the game in the trailer avoiding the shots to keep the video family friendly. Yeah, that was the whole thing. And in the case instance, I am very excited, and it's a fair few I know about as well, with the game set for release on February 27th. Besides that, we also got the unveiling and confirmation of the Switch 2 Pro controller and gold editions of Resident Evil 7 and 8 releasing on the same day as 9, and the confirmed official first look at the amiibos for this game of the 2 main leads. Yes, it's getting amiibos, and they're both releasing sometime in the summer, and they'll be buying both of them when they do. And the last of the titles unveiled was a triple whammy from a surprise appearance from Todd Howard, who gave us a confirmation that Fallout 4, Indiana Jones The Great Circle, and the Elder Scrolls 4 Oblivion Remaster are all making their way to the Switch 2 this year, with Fallout 4 being an anniversary edition dropping on February 24th, maybe April for the physical possibly, but even then it's just a code in the box, which is just really dumb. Indiana Jones gives its next big adventure when released on May 12th, and being an actual game card, not a code or key card, which thank God. And the Oblivion Remaster is set for release sometime this summer. It will have you on some unique journeys across 3 different lands, and I will not be surprised if within a few months they announce that Starfield or something will be on this console by the fall or something, but I guess we can see. But with all that was the first of the full Nintendo Directs this year, and while many have complained about this event, it was expected not a lot of big titles would be unveiled, this one in particular, and would be saved for a proper first party one that I'm see either dropping at the end of this month or sometime in March or April, but I guess we'll see by then. There was a case like 1 or 2 titles I was hoping to see get unveiled at this, which was like the Professor Layton game, the New World of Steam, hopefully getting a release date because it was pushed to this year, but we haven't heard anything. And one that I kept hearing rumors about getting like a next gen update and possibly onto a version of this was Red Dead Redemption 2. I was hoping at least some announcement, but maybe that's more kept for a first party one in this particular instance, but you know, I have some hopes. And I give props to the game developers for making an effort to having their games shown and coming to many platforms. I will be honored to have a game shown at the event, specifically one that I would love to see get some console ports just to support them from seeing their journey developing this game, because I loved it. And I hope we'll be given some of the games a proper try when they do release for its console. Sure, it's a case, but we can see and hope and pray for more appearances, but you gotta appreciate those who made the effort to get their games made and showing off the efforts, because I'd be fucking honored to be appearing on a Nintendo Direct conference, so in that regards, I apologize for this one. But what do you think of this Direct? Was there any games here that you're looking forward to playing, and what did you hope to see unveiled at this event? Let me know your thoughts and choices down below in the comments, and we can talk all about them there. Now, just in case, not going to be as long as that first story, this second one is just a hodgepodge collection for the last few stories, with a week focused on new ownerships, projects, and item announcements, and some new casting or release date news in focus. But we have to delve into what projects we're talking about specifically, so let's see what we have for this week. First, we will start with a focus of some new project rights obtainment news, as it looks like another project franchise from the past will be making its presence known again, and if he likes that this project may have a better chance in the process, as was announced on Monday that popular studio A24 has gained the rights to the popular 70s horror franchise of the Texas Chainsaw Massacre, with the first approach being a new series in the works, the series director being held by the Long Walk writer J.T. Molnar, and will be executive produced by Hollywood star Glenn Powell, though any reports of him starring in the series is currently unclear. And then following this series, we'll also see this franchise getting another film adaptation being made that will see the return of Leatherface and his deranged family of cannibal killers. Now, it'll be interesting to see if they can probably do the justice of this franchise and characters. The last time we had anything with this franchise in focus for a film or show, we got the attempted reboot back in 2022 that was a really disastrous outcome, both on the critic and audience side of things, with it trying to give the legacy sequel tone and not really landing that. So maybe it could have more of a chance with the studio, whose horror output is usually a lot more stronger, and may bring some life into this 50-year-old series, but I guess we can see as more word in the series and filming gets underway. Now, at the moment of writing, nothing else has been confirmed, but I hear anything about this new in the franchise, I'll provide that in a later episode as well. Then from one franchise revival to an adaptation announcement, we are heading over to the world of video games into movies and shows, and there is quite a fair amount of projects that are known in the works or in development, from the new takes of likes of God of War and Tomb Raider, sequels for Sonic the Hedgehog, Mario, and Mortal Kombat, and even follow-on seasons for Fallout, Twisted Metal, and The Last of Us, that I'm sure the case that one more adaptation could not hurt to be added to this list. And it seems it's another big award-winning title getting this treatment, and from someone that has already dealt with their hand into the gaming adaptations. As was announced on Wednesday or Thursday of this week, the HBO will be making a series based on the acclaimed title of Baldur's Gate 3, with the series set to follow in the story at the events of 3, and will be held by Chernobyl and Last of Us showrunner Craig Mazin, which I feel seems like some solid choice for adapting something like this. Now, for those uninitiated, Baldur's Gate is a bit of a fantasy-based title that's based on Dungeons and Dragons, and we'll see a group of going on a massive quest to cure a curse plaguing some of the characters in a party that will have all sorts of humor, debauchery, and everything else happens. Now, the idea of the series in the game can work and seems like it can make sense to do so, but there is a concern that this may seem as the studio behind this game of Larian Studios seems to not be really involved with the project, and it comes with the concern that adaptations that have little to do with the studios that create them, or even the creative that's defined the series, makes it a bit of a concern. But I'm sure we can see this be changed quickly and have some studio creatives involved and make it the best they can do so. Now, currently, all things stand this way. This is only just announced, and no concept of what we will see this or who else is going to be involved with this has been announced yet. But if anything new is provided down the line, I'll provide that in a later episode. Moving from adaptations to new takes on some franchises, we're heading over to Sony to ask if there's a sense of something strange or something weird and don't know what. Is the wonder, who are you gonna call? As it seems we're heading back to the popular 80s franchise, but going in a more different direction. As was announced on Thursday of this week that a new animated film based on the Ghostbusters franchise is in the works at Sony Animation, and to be released onto Netflix, making it seem like they are probably skipping a cinema release and being a streaming exclusive in particular. Now, there's a case I can see it being both a reasonable approach in the capacity that animated projects from Sony, such as K-pop Demon Hunters, have shown massive success on the streamer, given that that's the most watched original currently on the platform to this day, even over Stranger Things and Red Notice. And the case, and it could have an approach of getting a limited release and see if it does happen to this as well, but maybe the case they want to keep it to streaming, as the franchise as of late has not been the box office juggernaut that has been hoped it would be. Granted, the series has not been a multi-billion-dollar success in general every film, and has fluctuated in terms of the box office success and receptions, so maybe giving it back to the animated aesthetic may bring some new life into the franchise. I mean, the cartoon was very popular back in the 80s, and maybe some life in the franchise after the supernatural, and could see some new appealing new animation art style from the film that the studio has been experimenting with a lot of their projects. Now, as things stand, we have no idea when we can expect this project, and also the case if we connect to the main film and have some of the OG cast back to voice the characters or some of the newer additions, but I'm sure we'll be planning it out, and if we hear anything about this regards, I'll let you know in a later episode when I can. But speaking on animations and popular brands, it seems you're once again staying with Sony, but also talking on a new collab for something that has been a presence now as part of news for the last few weeks, as there's been a tease earlier this week that has the ever-popular and award-winning K-pop Demon Hunters will be getting a new form with the announcement that they are getting LEGO sets based on their film, with the first one teased for its release of this year and set to be a large-build version of the popular feline of Derpy and the bird of Sussy, going off of the teaser they released earlier in the week, which I can understand the approach of starting with that and leading to more established sets. This is not the only sets in mind. It's confirmed that a range of sets based on the film, and I will probably say the eventual sequel, are also in the works, with them starting to roll out either by the end of this year or 2027 at the earliest. In all sense of things, I'm interested to see what they make of the sets and will be interested to pick them up when I do. Now, the one thing that is unclear is if the main trio will be in the form of buildable figures, large scale versions, normal minifig size form, or they'll go into the approach that they do with the Lego Friends and Wicked range, and also the one character in the Lego Movie 2 range of being the more doll-like shape, but I guess we will find out down the line when the sets are revealed. If anything new is unveiled, I'll probably provide that in a later episode as well. On the only bit of casting news we have for the focus this week, we are heading to one of the realm of some more biographical stories, and this is one that I'm surprised has not had much of a take on their life yet, but it seems they are planning to put the pedal to the metal, as it seems to be developing a new film biopic on former world champion cyclist Lance Armstrong, and they seem to be eyeing Oscar-nominated actor Austin Butler for the title role. Now, for those uninitiated, Armstrong was a multi-Tour de France winner before the titles were stripped from him after he was discovered he was using performance-enhancing supplements. As career and appeal has not really improved that heavily over the years since he revealed them on, I believe, was Oprah's show or something, but I'm sure may have gone in focus on everything, and I feel it'll be interesting of the approach they go with this project. Now, I have no idea when we will be expecting this one. As things stand, Butler is also said to be playing the lead of a supposed remake of America's Psycho as Patrick Bateman, but I have no idea anymore if that is still a real thing or not, but I guess we'll see, and it'll be releasing in a few years' time or something, but I'll be providing updates if anything new comes about this project. And the last of the focus stories for this week is giving us a little bit of a release update for another project that, while has already been given an initial release date, has gone and shifted around. It was announced this week that the planned film based on the DC villain of Clayface has been delayed, but only by a short bit of time, as it was moved from its September 11th release of this year and now moved to October 23rd, 2026. Personally, I really don't have an issue with this release change, as I think this will be a probably good move on their part to release it around Halloween, as this character film is making it out to be sort of a body horror. I feel it fit perfectly with having a horror movie releasing in the spooky month, and the week out from the spooky day makes the most sense overall, and I feel will benefit better from them doing so. Now, I'm most intrigued at the moment to see some footage of the actual film itself, and I'm sure we'll get the next little bit or so, but I'm hoping this will appeal and some interesting approach to the overall DCU. I look forward to seeing this when it comes out this October. But what do you think of these stories? Do you think A24 will bring new life to Texas Chainsaw? Will you watch the Baldur's Gate adaptation? Will the anime Ghostbusters film be a success, or is this franchise run its course? Will you be buying the Lego K-pop Demon Hunter sets? And what other properties from Sony or similar would you want to get Lego sets? Do you think Butler is a solid choice for Armstrong, and is the date change for Clayface a good thing, and are you excited for this project? Let me know what you think down below and we can discuss all about them there, but with all that regards, that's all the news that we have for this week. So I thought just this week we will add in one more little segment, but I've done one of these for a little while, and let's get a little bit of a special segment. And this is a case that one I've seen floating about from another fellow Irish creator that I wanted to talk about and help support their work. Now, how many are you familiar with the concept of analog horror? It's been a case that they have been popped up a lot over the last few years, the stuff like the Backrooms, the Mandela Catalogs, Local 58, and Liminal Land, to just name a few, and even some more established franchises like the FNAF VHS tapes, or even the ones based on Batman that kind of, I think, is sort of lost meaning now at this point. It was actually pretty good. But in the case with this one, we're talking on a franchise that's inspired by the ever popular FNAF series, and we're talking about a series known as The Walton Files. That sees a story about a mysterious restaurant, a selection of animatronics known as the Showstoppers, and a sinister secrets and tragedy of the past that is looking to be buried. And it seems like we have a lot of fans and built upon lore since its inception about 5 or 6 years ago. I think it was like 2020 or something. I have no idea. Now, the reason that I bring this up is to do with a special segment as a fellow Irish creator by the name of Cal Maloney, who has for the last few months or so has been making his own fan film known as Stells that may not be fully canon to the Walton Files, but what I have seen from his work he has done on like the behind the scenes stuff on the production side of things, has given some posts online over the last little while, has been really impressive, and I have to give him props for his work. Like some of the makeup stuff and the filming stuff looks pretty good. Now, the likes of when this is coming out is unknown, but it seems he's pushing for this to appear in a few film festivals around the country, and it seems he's trying to for a bit with getting it shown in a few local cinema chains around the place. And I do hope this has some sense of success in the effort put into it, and hopefully it will be a success for them overall to get seen by a large majority, and I would pay some funds into checking it out myself if it does, or anywhere, but it will give the support, and when it does, and I hope when it does release, and I hope you give it the support in this regards as well, and I hope this project is successfully. So I want to say the best of luck to Cal and wish you all success with the project. I look forward to seeing it when it comes out, because it does look pretty interesting, and the poster does look really good. And I've seen a few other fan-made ones as well that look pretty great as well. So best of luck with your project. And in case you want me to talk about like anything in particular, like a special segment topic or some other thing, like, you know, you want to promote something, or just let me know down below. Like, I'll gladly talk about it. Like, just let me know on socials. I can try and figure it out. But I can work it in a later episode, but let me know. So yeah, go check out Stells when it does come out, and go support some filmmakers.
I broke the goddamn wheel.
And now, with all of that, and over rambling later, that ends episode 142 of Weird My Newsroom, and I hope you enjoyed these ramblings. So I'm gonna fly through these conclusions now, because I've talked on way too long. So we're gonna start reviews. I'm currently working through a few of them right now. I am gonna do a quick fire snack size boxes review for the Muppet special. I don't want to go too long on it kind of thing. I just want to give like a few minutes to kind of briefly talk about it, because I really love this. I really love this special. I just kind of want to give it like a bit of a love and appreciation, and just throwing on a few pieces, and like I need to kind of amplify my shorts in terms of YouTube stuff or like online stuff, so I'll probably throw it up there. I will get to like The Last of Us, I'll get to like of Hazbin Hotel and a few other shows and movies and stuff like that in different genres, more Snack Size box office coming, so look forward to those. Gameplay wise then, I will have the DK Manans video out probably before this one. I'll probably just try and upload it in the next like little bit before this episode comes out, or maybe just like a day or two after this one drops, so maybe around the same time, but we'll figure it out. Then I'm gonna record some more gameplays of like Star Wars, Mario Wonder, and Cyberpunk. I will get to start streaming some points in the next few days or something like that. I'm trying to figure it out, the case of like best timing wise, and like if people watch. And then I'm trying to decide between either a normal chat video, a normal chat stream to start off, a build stream, or a game stream. I'm trying to figure it out, so if you can help me down below in the comments or something like that, or I might post it on my socials, just give an idea of things. In the case of long form stuff in the regards, Harmos Boar is coming, the AI Audience Choice video I promised someone is coming, the Rewatchathon is coming, anticipated media video is coming, it's probably be a little bit while, and the case of some other bits and pieces are all coming as well, so look forward to those. It's just been a case of my procrastination and other bits and pieces, and like mentally I've just not been, you know, in the right mindset. I haven't really sleeping well, you know, all different things, so you know, it's the kind of thing. But I'll get to those eventually, so look forward to those. Apologies on the delay, just being this. But in the regards, I think I'll leave it there for now. So if you'd like to see what you hear and want to see more from more frequently, simply like and subscribe. I'll do new stuff every single week. I'm aiming for 750 to 1,000 subs this year, so any support is greatly appreciated. Even just viewing stuff and liking bits, I appreciate as well. Or even a few comments here and there, I appreciate it. As well as case, if you want 10% off Pure Crack, just use my code Sam Harrison down below in the comments. You can use the link in the description and get yourself 10% off on some energy drink, on some delicious drink that will basically keep you energized and, you know, informed. It's basically very healthy as well, so look forward to that case. And let me know your thoughts on everything discussed this week, from new releases, the trailers, and the ever long news stories and stuff like that. But let me know your thoughts down below. But with that regards now, I'm going to end there for now. So as always, you all stay wonderful people. Have a great day every day, doing many great things, keeping you because no one else can do what you do. Take care of yourself because mental is very important, and check it on everyone you need when needs the most, because you never know who needs it. But anyways, I've been your host Sam. Nice to see you all in the next one. So take care, and I'll see you later.